Alright guys, today I'll be making my top 10 coasters in Ohio list. And as you guys might know, there's only really two good parks in Ohio, being Kings Island and Cedar Point. But those are some of the two best parks in the world. So Ohio's got a really good collection of coasters still. So this is basically a video of me ranking just these two parks' coasters collection together. So at the number 10 spot is Mystic Timbers, and if you saw my review of this thing, you'd know I'm not quite the biggest fan of this. It's basically just got a bunch of like quick pops of floater kind of. It's smooth, it's fast paced. There's some okay laterals throughout it. Like I don't know, the people like Taylor who just like have it so high in their list. Like I don't get like how they have it that high. Like I think it's fun, but it's a great ride still. It's still in my top 10 in this amazing state, but the shed's just dumb. In the ride, like, I guess it just underwhelmed me. It's a great coaster. It's in my top 10 Woodies easily, but yeah, it just didn't do quite as much for me as I was hoping. So at the number 9 spot, we've got Raptor at Cedar Point. This is just a really whippy B&M invert. Like, you whip through all those elements so fast. The pacing's amazing. The intensity's there for sure. Not quite as much as another coaster on this list, but it's still there and definitely worth a ride. Raptor surprisingly gets pretty big lines, so I would definitely ride Raptor early. Obviously go to Steel Vengeance first, because yeah, that's the best ride and the biggest line, but go to definitely hit Raptor up while you're there as well. Now the number 8 spot is Top Thrill Dragster, and at Cedar Point, and this ride's just so short. The elements are amazing, but the launch and the top hat, but they're just only two elements, so I don't know. I feel like I can't give it like that high of a spot, because like it's 17 seconds long. Like I want a little more in a ride than that, but for what it does do, it's amazing, and that's why it's this high for being 17 seconds long. Now, the number 7 spot is my favorite B&M invert, which is Banshee at Kings Island. And this coaster is really intense. Like, by far the most intense B&M I've been on. Like, it doesn't have much airtime, but, like, the positive G's are crazy. And you actually do get a bit of airtime down that drop. It's crazy first drop. And also the Heartline roll gives some of the best hang time out there. So overall, Banshee's a really good ride. Now at the number 6 spot is Diamondback at Kings Island. This is my second favorite B&M Hyper. It's got tons of floater airtime. It's my favorite B&M Hyper for airtime. And just, especially in the back, I feel like it's even crazier. The trims do hit, unfortunately, and they do hit hard, so definitely be aware of those. The trims can definitely make or break a ride. The splashdown effect's cool. Overall, it's just a really good B&M Hyper. Now, at the number 5 spot, we're staying in Kings Island again for Orion, and Orion's personally my favorite B&M Giga. I haven't bet on Fury, but I like it more than Leviathan. Yeah, Orion's really fun ride. It's got great floater airtime, some unique elements, which is why I think I put it ahead of Diamondback, just because everything's so much more unique on Orion. And I do honestly think it's slightly stronger than Diamondback as well. Obviously that first drop is just insane, especially in the back. The speed up front's unlike anything else except a few other coasters. That weird thing, like, before the brakes is honestly the best part of the ride for front row riders. I don't know. It's just such a good ride, and I feel like unlike other like B&M Gigas like Fury and Leviathan, where like it all like flows together, like this is like kind of like a more like like the elements stand out. Like you remember the drop, you remember that weird like wave turn thing before the brakes. Like you don't remember them as a whole. So in that sense, it's kind of a lot different than a lot of B&Ms, and I kind of like that for this ride. So Orion's a really good ride for Kings Island. Now, the number 4 spot is Millennium Force at Cedar Point, and this might be the most iconic coaster in the world. It's really good. I used to think this was pretty forceless, but yeah, I was stupid back then. This thing's got some really good force to it. The first turn, you will gray out. You do get some good moments of airtime, floater airtime, no ejector, but still really good. The sense of speed's even better than on Orion. The first drop, I don't think it's quite as good as Orion's, but it's almost there. Plus, the view's insane. And yeah, just like the speed hill, the intensity, just all of it makes it so good. Now we're down to the top 3. Number 3, if you know me, you know what it is. It's Beast at Kings Island. I'm such a big fan of this ride. This almost kind of feels like a wooden Millennium Force, but even better than Millennium Force. You do get a few moments of, like, weak floater, I felt, like, on the drop, like, I don't know, but this ride just shines in the laterals. This is the best ride for laterals I've ever been on. You're just, like, constantly pinned to the side of your seat the whole time, like, on all those turns, and it's so sustained, especially in that double helix after the second lift hill. That's like one of the most intense elements on any coaster, I think. And just the whole experience, just flying through the woods, is amazing. It's just something completely different from, like, any other coaster out there. And, like, I just love this thing. By the way, you should go listen to my rap about it after this video. But anyways, let's move on to the top 2, which you guys probably already know by now. Number 2 is Maverick at Cedar Point. And this isn't only my number 2 at the park or Ohio, it's my number 2 overall. And Maverick's just, it's got everything. It's got my favorite launch of all time. Yes, better than Dragster's and King to Cause. Just because of, like, the theming around it feels like you're going so much faster than you are because you're in that tight tunnel. It's got some insanely snappy transitions that give crazy ejector airtime. The first drop's one of my all-time favorites. Every hill delivers. The inversions are alright. The Stangle dives are absolutely disgustingly intense. And just overall, Maverick does everything amazing. And what's the number 1 spot? Obviously, it's Steel Vengeance, the greatest coaster of all time. And yeah, just nothing's gonna beat this thing for a long time. Like, I don't even know if Falcon's Flight could beat this. This thing's got just a disgusting amount of airtime, and it's all incredible. Like, this thing has literally my 4 favorite elements on any coaster on this just one ride. I mean, like, I don't even know, like, it would be impossible to rank every element on this thing, I feel like. Like, I don't know how you do it. Like, every element's just perfect in some way. This thing even has a bit of intensity on a couple of those turns. The inversions, I don't hear many people talk about the inversions, but the inversions, especially that weird dive thing, the second inversion before the mid-course, that's an incredible inversion. Like, that's probably my favorite inversion in the park and one of my favorites of all time. Just obviously the greatest coaster of all time for airtime, and just everything else around it makes it easily the greatest coaster of all time, which, if it's the greatest coaster of all time, it's definitely the greatest coaster in Ohio. So that's my list for my top 10 coasters in Ohio. Let me know what you guys thought about this list in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.